Let's come back to this one. Okay, this is hard. This one's hard. I don't know why that has felt so scary to me. Would you be willing to marry again? So hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Melody and I make faith-based content here on YouTube. If you're wanting to grow in your relationship with God or understand his word more deeply, you are in the right place. So definitely be sure to subscribe. I would love to have you join the family. But in today's video, it's time for me to just go ahead and rip off these band-aids. I was praying about this earlier and honestly, I feel such a release from the Lord to be honest, to be transparent, because so much of the last 5 years I have spent trying to make something look pretty from the outside that internally was not pretty. And now that I have freedom from that weight on my shoulders, I'm walking lighter, I'm walking more boldly, I'm walking more authentically, and I feel like y'all can tell. I know the people that I do life with in real life, they can tell, and I can feel it. So as you can tell by the title, we're going to be doing a good old Q&A. This is long overdue. I honestly feel like it's been years since I've done one of these, and I'm going to be answering all of the questions that I have been avoiding. So let's just go ahead and dive on in. But first, if you are here for the tea, go ahead and exit stage left, okay? We're not doing that. We're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that. All right, now with that being said, let's just go ahead and dive on in. So the goal here is for us to get through as many questions as we possibly can in like 15 minutes. So let's go. Question number one, and if you see me looking off over here, it is because I am reading off of my computer. I collected these questions off of Instagram as well as here on YouTube. So it's gonna be a little mix of everything. So question number one is, how are you able to still show up on camera despite everything? To be completely honest, I've had a lot of experience compartmentalizing. For a very long time in my marriage, things were very, very difficult. However, my job was to show up here online and to give you biblical encouragement. And so I focused on doing just that. I did not share my life outside of giving you guys some biblical encouragement. And that was very, very intentional. In the journey that I'm going through right now of separation and divorce, which I actually haven't even said the word divorce on the internet. I don't know why that has felt so scary to me. I've said starting over and, I alluded to, but yes, through this process of separation and divorce, there have been moments where it's been simply impossible for me to compartmentalize. Like what is happening is too much, and so I don't show up. And you probably will notice that on my channel. There will be times where I'll pop up and then it might be a few weeks, and it's because I don't have it in me. And I feel freedom from the Lord to lean into those moments and not share from a performative place. Not that this is like my online journal to where I dump everything, but when you're going through things that are like obviously so hard and so heavy and so uncertain and so all consuming, there are moments where you just can't push that to the side and like show up and be cute and, say something nice. And so that's how I'm able to do it. And when I feel good, my goal is always to like film as much content as I can, because I know that the challenging days are coming. And so that's also how I navigate things there. All right, next question is, have you received backlash or judgment from believers on your new singleness? If so, how have you dealt with it? Yes, I definitely have. I've received a few random emails. Granted, these are from people that like follow me on social media, but don't actually know me in real life. And there have just been assumptions that they throw at me of like what happened in my marriage and what I did and what the other party did. And, like kind of saying just things that are just so disconnected from reality. And so those have been pretty easy to be like, girl, you literally don't know what you're talking about. But I do have to fight the urge of, I have to fight the urge of explaining myself because I don't like being misunderstood. And so that's something that I've learned, like this random person on the internet does not need me to go in detail and like correct their assumption. I just need to allow myself to be misunderstood here. Like I just need to let them misunderstand me and that be okay, because the Lord knows, and those that are like close to me know as well. And so that's what I've learned in those moments. However, there have been people that are closer to me, that know me actually in real life to some extent, that have voiced their disapproval. And honestly, the thing that came up in both of these instances was feeling misunderstood. And so that's something that I've been working on in therapy, of just being more comfortable of letting people misunderstand me, letting people have their position, have their assumptions, have their beliefs, and know that what they believe does not impact what I know to be true, what I know God has said to be true, what I know people have walked me through, what I know I've done, you know what I mean, what I know I've been through. And so that's something that I have had to learn, just being more secure and less dependent on the opinion of man, because that's something that I've definitely struggled with and I think still working through. So question number 3 is, what are some small ways that you have been treating yourself during this transition? So there have been a few different manners and forms of self-care that I have leaned into during this transition, because honestly, this transition has been happening for quite a while at this point. And one of them has been baths. I feel like I've kind of leaned out of that right now though. Number 2 has been painting my sticker books. Sounds crazy, but it is so relaxing. I've been reading more, but lately what I have really been appreciating is just investing into some quality clothes. So when I get dressed, when I'm filming, when I'm going to church, when I'm just doing things around the house, I feel good, because genuinely when you look good, you feel good. And so I want to go ahead and just thank Quince for partnering with me on this portion of this video, because they have been my one-stop shop for getting quality pieces at really affordable pricing. The pieces that I've recently picked up from Quince have been in rotation, baby. If you follow me over on Instagram, I'm sure that you have seen me in them. I'm 100% in my skirt era, and I love the quality of their pieces. As you can see, this one particular skirt that I have here is lined, so you are not going to be able to see through it at all. This other skirt is linen, so it's so incredibly breathable. And another thing I really love about Quince is that they are committed to ethical production, so you can feel good about your purchases. You know, you're going to purchase things that are nicer and that last longer, but again, that are still so affordable. And these pieces already have been so easy to just weave into my everyday mom uniform, but kind of just elevate me a little bit, because again, when you look good, you feel good. So if you're wanting to check out Quince, definitely check the link in the description box. It'll take you to all of my favorites, one-stop shop, and you also get free shipping. So thank you once again to Quince for partnering with me on this portion of today's video. So our next question is, what has been your favorite part so far of your journey and starting over? Honestly, the peace. There's just this peace that I have now that I am by myself that is priceless. And I think back to when I was single, and oh my gosh, I was like so over it just being me and God. Like I was so ready to get into that next season and, marriage and kids and all the things. And now that it's just me and God again, I have a whole new appreciation for the preciousness of this time. And then number 2, my cat. Okay, I got a cat. And when I tell you that was never on my horizon, I am like not an animal person historically ever as a child, like never. But God is just so kind in how he just weaved and orchestrated all of this. And I love my boy. I love him so much. He is just such a bright light to me and such a reminder of God's redemption to me, which I feel like I can go more in there and, tell the story of how him and I came to be. But I love my cat Ian, and that's probably my second favorite. Next question, what are some age-appropriate ways that you introduce your daughter to God? So one thing about my girl is she loves to read. I recently got her a new kids Bible. So before we had some toddler Bibles, and they were books that you could read like in one sitting. It didn't have that many pages, but this new Bible that I got for her, which I will have it linked down below, she loves it. Loves it. And there's probably upwards of like 100 stories, and all the stories are just a few pages long. She loves it. They got the pictures. And so I think that's been a really beautiful way to introduce my girl in particular to God. I also make a point to memorize scripture with her and to pray with her, to pray over her, and to just introduce her to the concept of being in communication with God, talking about God, not it being something that we only do or only talk about on Sundays, but really something that every day there's conversations about the Lord. Every day we're praying. Every day you see mommy reading her Bible, then we're going to go read your Bible. Our next question is, are you okay? I actually got a lot of variations of this question. Are you okay? How are you? How can we be praying for you and your family? And honestly, today is a good day. I try to just take every day like one day at a time, because there are definitely good days and there are definitely bad days. But I would say in like any given week, I have about, 5 good days and 2 maybe more challenging days. But I'm learning how to cope with all of that. But overall, I'm okay. Like I truly am okay. I am navigating this season better than I thought I would, to be completely honest. It's not at all going how I thought it would, but oh my goodness, am I learning to trust the Lord in a whole brand new way. Like, oh my goodness, has scripture come alive to me? Has God's presence felt so tangible? Like, not that I'm happy any of this happened, but there's something about going through seasons of suffering where like you almost miss it. Let's say miss lightly, but there is something so tangible about God's presence when you're going through things. And so this season in particular, God's presence has just felt so tangible. Like, I know the Lord be with me, And so for that, I'm grateful. And so I try to find his presence in even the, struggle-ish moments. And that is what can change my perspective on like a hard day or whatever. But I also let myself have the hard days, and I'm grateful that I have a job where like if I need to take a day, I can. And if I need to call up my good sis and ask her to pray for me, I can. My mom is officially retired, so she comes up from Florida every month. And so that also has been amazing. And today's a good day. And as for prayers, I think just for the Lord to get in the middle of all of this, like for God's presence to just get in the middle of all of these moving parts. So if you could be praying for that, guys, I really would appreciate it. Okay, our next question is, are you a co-parent? And what is the Lord teaching you during co-parenting? I am indeed a co-parent, and this is something that I never, ever thought that I would go through. And this has been by far the most challenging part of this entire divorce separation process. Like, hands down. The Lord has definitely been teaching me throughout this co-parenting process that he loves my daughter more than I do. And it's something that is hard to move from my head, because like, sure, I can intellectualize like, he loves her more than I do, but really moving that from my head to my heart to find comfort in the moments where I'm not around her, and to know that like God's got her in those moments, that has definitely probably been the biggest thing that the Lord has been teaching me in this. Trusting in him, trusting his love for her, and doing what I can do to be healthy for her as well. So then when we do have time together, like I'm just a safe place for her. You know what I mean? Like I'm a safe place that she can come, and trying to be the best version of myself for her too. Okay, this is hard. This one's hard. This one's hard. Okay, next question. All right, the next question is, what red flags did you overlook? Let's come back to this one. Okay, we'll come back to this one, I promise. Next question, would you be willing to marry again? So let me answer a different question first, and then I'll answer this question because I want to make sure that I explain myself here. Okay, so the question I'll answer before I answer this question about if I'd marry again is, I got so many variations of this particular question as well. How did I know it was time to move on from my relationship? How did I know it was time to leave my marriage? How did I know it was time to walk away from my marriage? Was it God, a gut feeling? Was it spirit or flesh? So friends, I did not make this decision. I think that you guys think I did, but I didn't make this decision. I did not file for divorce. So I didn't choose this. Okay, I didn't choose this. Now let's get back to the other question that we jumped over. So the other question, and I guess this will just go ahead and be the last one because I feel like this is getting pretty long, is would you be willing to marry again? And because of how the how my marriage broke apart, yes, I would be willing to get married again because I would be within my biblical rights to do so. Now, if I wouldn't, for whatever reason, be within my biblical rights to do so, then I would be single for the rest of my life because I fear the Lord, guys. I fear the Lord more than I want to be happy here on earth. So, yeah, But again, because of how everything happened and because of how things played out, I would be open to doing that one day down the line in the future. All right, friends, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I definitely enjoyed just kind of kicking it with you guys, being able to be honest, transparent, all the things, and bring you guys up to speed on this season of my life. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you so much to Quince for partnering with me on this video. Again, I'll have a link down below for you to check out my favorites and also get free shipping. And as always, it is now your turn. So in the comments below, I would love to know, this is a question that I didn't answer, but I feel like I bet you got some good answers. What are some red flags that you have missed previously in relationships? Drop them down in the comments. Save your good sisses, okay? Give us your best red flags so we can learn from what you learned from. And then, of course, take a second to scroll on through. And as always, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.